Kale and other leafy greens. We'll talk about that in this edition of WJTS in.form as Jan Dougan joins us in the studio. Jan is the DuBois County Extension Educator. Jan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
It's good to have you in because you always have something interesting to talk about. And we're going to talk about kale and other leafy vegetables or leafy things. And Jesse, the production guy, and I were talking ahead of time. Kale is like, what's all of a sudden everybody's eating kale? I mean, for a long time, you never really heard of kale.
Right, and it has been around for a long time, but you know what? It's the hot new thing. It's the buzzword in nutrition. It's the buzzword for everyone who's trying to eat healthier and fill their plate with some more leafy green things. Kale is the thing to think about.
Is it a new vegetable, or has it been around forever?
No, it's been around. Kale's been around for a long time. I think there's some new varieties that are available. But it's been around for a long time. It's just that let's say it's been rediscovered. Okay,
because kale, I can remember seeing, you get a plate and it's got this big heavy leafy thing to make it look good, garnishment, and I guess it was kale.
It could have been.
But I never thought about eating it.
Right.
Now it seems like I'm surprised at the amount of food that I'm eating that has kale in it.
Right, there are a lot of ways to prepare kale to use and to eat, to enjoy. I think, we're seeing it more readily available in markets because, there's the consumer demand there for it in the grocery stores because it is one of the so-called superfoods that we're being encouraged to eat because it's filled with great vitamins and minerals that we need, and we're all being encouraged to eat more vegetables, more fruits. So this is one of those that we're hoping people will start planting in their gardens, start growing, start using more in meal planning, and there's so many different ways that you can do that.
Now, you have kale in a pot.
Yes.
And it probably looks to me like something you could almost use in landscaping. Does kale need anything special?
Well, let me tell you what happened at our home this year.
Okay.
So we were a little late in getting the garden ready. And then we had some weather issues. We had some time commitments and that we couldn't get the work done that needed to be done. And I happened to be in a garden greenhouse and I thought they were discontinuing their plants, their leafy greens that they had because it was getting too late to plant them in the gardens. So I thought, wow, this is a great price. If I take these home and put them in pots and just set them in my landscaping right outside my kitchen door, I'll still get to enjoy some fresh leafy greens without having them planted in the garden this year. So I found this old pot.
Sure.
It had some holes in it already in the bottom for drainage. I got some potting soil and added to it and planted a couple different kinds of kale. I think this one might be called Russian kale. I think this is the one called Russian kale. And then this is the typical kale that we see a lot in the grocery stores with the lacy, roughly green leaves on it. And then I also had some red leaf lettuce that I've had in here and some red oak leaf lettuce. And this has been really great because we've enjoyed several salads and we've enjoyed kale in several ways just by doing this in our landscaping.
How can you eat kale? I'm sure you can eat it raw, right?
Yes, you can eat it raw.
But it's a pretty dense, it's a different kind of texture if you use the lettuce.
Well, feel it, Bill, because it does feel almost leathery.
Yes.
Thicker than this leaf lettuce. So it is more coarse. It is a little bit chewier. But if you chop it up more finely, then you can eat it fresh as a salad. You can steam it. You could saute it like maybe we're familiar with sauteing spinach. Okay. You could saute kale with just a little olive oil and maybe a little garlic. Put a little Parmesan cheese on it. You could eat it that way. A lot of people are chopping it and putting it in smoothies for like a power smoothie. You won't, when you put it in a blender, it's going to chop up really fine and it's just going to turn whatever your smoothie is a green color. And you're really not going to taste the taste of it so much in a smoothie, depending upon what you add to that smoothie. So, these are just some of the ways that you can use kale. Actually, last night I made a dish for dinner that was cannelli beans, so white kidney beans, just canned cannelli beans. in a little garlic and olive oil with some diced tomatoes, and I used canned diced tomatoes because it needed to be a quick meal last night.
Okay.
And then I chopped up some kale and added to that, and I just put the lid on just so that it got bright green and steamed in with those beans and tomatoes and the garlic and the olive oil. And then I just sprinkled some Parmesan cheese on top, and that was dinner last night. So we had our beans, our protein,
Okay.
right?
Right.
We had our tomatoes and our kale for our vegetables, and then our cheese for our dairy.
You had them all right there. It's easy, quick, simple meal.
Served a whole grain bread slice with it, and that was our meal last night.
So I guess really then, kale is an easy thing to grow. It's an easy thing to eat.
Yes.
And you could just put it in your landscaping if you don't have a garden. Put it in a pot.
Right.
And this is one of those things too. You can clip off the leaves and it'll keep growing.
Right. So I usually use scissors to clip the kale, and I usually just clip it and then take it in, and we want to make sure that we wash it really well. Now, a lot of folks are making kale chips, which you use the kale for that. You chop it up, you put olive oil on it, and then you do it in the oven. And if people want the directions on that, they can contact the Purdue Extension Office, and I can share those specific directions with them if they want to make kale chips. But usually when you are going to use kale, after washing it in cool water to remove any of dirt or any residue or anything that's on it, you're going to want to clip this stemmy part out. So you can just, going to grab that?
I got it.
Thanks. So you want to just cut that out and not use that because that's not good. And then this is the part of the kale you would use, and you can chop it, you can use it whole, but I think because it's such a chewy type of leaf that it's better to chop it a little bit up before you use it.
Is this one of those, like lettuce I know that is not good to grow in July and August, but great to grow in May, early June, or September, October?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the same way
So
with kale?
it's a spring garden product, or then later in the fall. And actually in the fall, what I usually do at home, because we haven't really gotten into fall gardening at our house. That's a busy time for me. And so I have usually added this to a pot with flowers, or maybe this and some Swiss chard to a pot with flowers, and then I can continue to clip that and use that throughout the fall. It's just two of us at home right now. So, you know, if those viewers are watching, if there's only one or two of you in the home, and you know, you used to garden and you loved having fresh things that you could go out and get, but now it's more work than you want to do, or it's you know, just too big of a task for you, you can actually do some potting of some of these products, some of these garden things, and then enjoy them.
So it's a great way to complement a flower garden, I guess,
Yes.
and get some food out of it.
Yes. So one of my other pots that I have at home that I did put some more kale in, I actually put kale and pansies in. And pansies are edible. Did you know that?
I think I did. And actually I think I've eaten them before.
So there are some flowers that are edibles, and pansies are kind of, you know, kind of fun to put a couple pansies in a salad or something because it just really looks very appealing, and it's kind of a fun thing to do for family or company. So, you know, I have kale and pansies in a pot, and those are all spring kinds of things that grow. So, or in the fall. So, you know, that makes for a pretty pot, the green and the pansies, and yet it's edible. It's just not to look at.
Is it good to have a salad that has a lot of different varieties of, like, let's say this red leaf lettuce and some kale and some parsley? Is that better than just a plain?
Well,
I guess it depends
all
on,
of that would be a better, a healthier, a more nutritional choice than head lettuce.
Okay.
You know, so the darker the greens, or the more colorful the leaves are, the more different kinds of vitamins and minerals that you're going to get. And so it's really good to mix it up like that. But variety is also important. So, you know, you might not want to mix it up all the time. You might want to have just some that you have the kale, or some that you have just use the red leaf lettuce and the red oak lettuce and make a salad like that.
and easy to grow. Doesn't take a lot of maintenance.
You know,
really.
and depending upon Mother Nature, whether you're going to have to water it or Mother Nature is going to take care of watering it and help it to grow. It's going to need water and sunshine.
That's about the easiest you can be.
Yeah,
All right. Jan, thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add about kale?
Just I think that people should give it a try. Think about there's a number of ways that you can prepare it. And if anyone has any questions at all or wants more recipes or ideas, if they want to contact me, Jan Dougan at the Purdue Extension Office here in Du Bois County, please feel free to do so.
Well, you know, it's one of those things I would never have thought of eating kale. And now in the stores they have these chopped salads that are ready to go with everything you need. You
Right.
just mix it all up.
Right.
And I thought, I wonder what these leaves are that are in here that are all chopped up.
Did you
And
read
a lot
the
of it's
ingredients?
kale. Yeah, I thought I'm doing something that's good for me and didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
So,
great.
you know, you might be surprised you like kale.
Yeah.
Jan, thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thanks, Bill.
And
It's
thanks
been
for
great.
bringing in the kale.
All right.
Remember, you can pot it at home. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching WJTS Inform. Add more grains to your diet. Think about kale. This has been WJTS Inform. We're local people watching local people.